Good evening, Jeffrey and Timothy. It seems that we are the only one who are early in class. Okay, as we continue, others will find us along the way. So just a quick one, just to confirm, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Did we discuss capital? Had we started?
No. We didn't start.
Okay, so we were discussing on the right issue before.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, then fair enough. I think then today we can begin with the cost of capital topic. Okay, thank you, Jeffrey, for that. Okay, so cost of capital. Now, cost of capital essentially, okay, the company, don't forget, will be financed by different capital providers. Okay, they're going to be a diverse array of people. Okay, who will be finance the company all the way from shareholder, private shareholder, the debt holders in form of debenture issue of bonds. Okay. Bank loans. Okay, so the company might be financed by different people. Okay, and of course every person who is going to give up their money, okay, for to the company, okay, of course they will be expecting a return at the end of the day. Okay, the return that the different providers, okay, the return for example, equity shareholders shall be expecting, okay, is what referred to as the return of equity. Okay, if the company will obtain money from let's say from a bank, okay, the interest, okay, that the bank, for example, shall be expecting at the end of a given time period, okay, is what we call for the cost of the debt, okay, the cost of the bank loan, okay. So all the different, okay, providers of capital, okay, shall be expecting different return, okay. So in this topic, okay, our main, we shall be concentrating more towards how we estimate, okay, the return each of the different capital providers, okay, shall be expecting by the end of a given time period. Okay, if we are going to be financed by equity and debt, okay, so we quantify, we determine what is the cost of equity. Okay, what return does the equity shareholder expect? Okay, if the company is being financed by debt, okay, through the bank loan, okay, what return does the bank expect by the end of the day? Okay, if the company is being financed by preference shareholder, okay, what returns does the preference shareholder expect at the end of the day? Okay, so this topic is simply about trying to determine, trying to estimate, okay, what return do each provider of capital expect to receive at the end of the given time period, okay, and mostly at the end of the year, okay. So that's what shall be concentrated here, okay, trying to estimate, okay. Our main concentration will be estimation of the return the different capital provider shall be expecting at the end of the day, okay. You can be using a number of models, okay, that can help us in getting the cost of equity, getting the cost of capital, okay, from equity or the preference share, as well as all the way to the debt, okay. So we shall use a number of models, okay, that can help us in estimating the cost of capital, okay. Without further ado, okay, we can go straight to the material, okay. We have said the cost of capital, okay, you can view or we can define, okay, the cost of capital in a number of ways, okay. One of the way you can define, okay, the cost of capital be equal to is simply the return, okay. What return do the different capital provider expect to receive, okay? What return do the different capital provider expect to receive, okay? If you give, or if we'll be financed, okay, by equity shareholder, okay, what return do the equity shareholder expect, okay? Don't forget, you are the one asking for capital, okay? Therefore, to the provider, to the shareholder, to the debt holder, okay, the one that are giving up their money to you, okay, don't forget, to them it's a return. They want a return. But you as a company, okay, don't forget, you will be incurring a cost, okay? For every dollar you can be using, okay, you can be obtaining from these capital providers, okay, to you is a cost, to them is a return, okay? So that's the first way you can try to determine what we mean by the cost of capital, the cost of fund, okay? The return the provider of capital expect at the end of the day, okay? Another way you can try to view it, okay, is what we call the minimum rate of return. Now, if you remember when we were discussing on the appraisal, okay, we are discussing the appraisal, okay, we say that one of the methods you can use when it comes to appraising, okay, the investment is IRR, okay, the internal rate of return, the IRR, okay, and it says that IRR is a minimum return that you need to be receiving for the project, okay. If, for example, okay, IRR is lower than the cost of capital, if IRR is lower than the cost of capital, we did say that we ought to reject that project, okay. I'm assuming that you remember, okay, the appraisal you based on IRR, okay. that if the cost of capital is lower than the IRR, then as a company, therefore, we ought to reject that particular project. Okay. Therefore, the cost of capital, okay, if you have to compare it with the return that we need to be seeing from the project, if the return from the project is lower than the cost of capital, then of course you ought not to invest in that particular project. Therefore, simply, therefore, the cost of capital can be the minimum return we ought to be receiving from an investment, okay, for it to be acceptable. Okay, I think we did discuss this when we were discussing on the appraisal of projects. Okay, and of course, the way you can try to view it is what we call the cost of finance. Okay, the cost of finance. Okay, by cost of the opportunity cost of finance. Okay, essentially, okay, if you have to use a simple graphic, okay, to help us understand. Okay, if for example the company, okay, has the following. Now the shareholder. Let me show the shareholder. Okay, so the shareholder have the following potential investment. Okay, there is a shareholder who don't finance is to give to finance into company. There's company A, company B. The return they shall be receiving from company A, assume it is equal to 10%. From B is let's say 9%. Now, between the two, if, for example, the shareholder would want to make an investment, okay, the only way they're going to invest in company B, okay, I assume that all factors remain constant. The only difference is on the return, okay. The only way that they're going to choose investment B, they're going to invest in investment B, it is only if they're going to be promised a similar return they could have received in an alternative project, okay. In this case, therefore, there is no way they're going to invest in company B unless they're given at least the 10%, okay. Therefore, by default, okay, assume that all shareholders, all the investors in the market, okay, are deemed to be rational, okay, then of course they're going to invest in, they're going to be, they shall be comparing, okay, what is the other potential return, the other potential project, okay, what return can it yield, okay, and the only way I can invest in company B is in case it promises me a return at least equal to the 10%. Otherwise, why do they want to choose a project B, okay? That's another way you can try to view the cost of capital. It is the minimum return. Okay, it is the opening cost of funds they could have received for investing elsewhere. Okay, and this particular graphic, if B would want the money from this shareholder, okay, let me call shareholder ABC. Okay, the only way that ABC is going to give money is in case B promised a return of 10% on the minimum. Okay, otherwise they're not going to invest their money. Okay. Those are the three ways you can try to observe, okay, or to determine, okay, or to define, okay, what we mean by the cost of capital. Okay. Essentially, don't forget the investors, okay, will have to observe the amount of risk that they shall be exposing themselves, okay, by them investing in the company. Okay, you see that the only, okay, if for example, just to going back to our board here, okay. If you have a case here, okay, we would want to assess, okay, we have, let's say, project, let me call that XY, yes, it is here, okay, so here we have some other projects, okay, we have project X, we have project Y, okay, and assume that this is the risk exposure, okay, to the investor, assume it is 10%, okay, this is 30%, okay, assume that we measure risk using maybe standard deviation, okay, we should remember the standard deviation as a measure of risk, okay. If project X, okay, the risk it is exposing to the investor, okay, is 10%, okay, and for Y, the risk that they shall be exposing to the investor is equal to 30%, okay. Don't forget that the only way that project Y is going to entice the investor to invest in its project, okay, so the only way that they're going to invest in project Y is if the return, okay, if you have this to be a return, if for example project X, the return the holder do get, assume it is let's say 15%, okay, this return, okay, there's no way the investor shall be taking or investing in project Y unless the return they shall be seen from Y is greater than the return received from project X. Why? Because the risk in Y is much more higher than the risk in project X, which implies therefore the return to be received from project Y need to be greater than 15%, for example, okay, for example, can be 20%, okay. Essentially, the investors have to quantify the return they shall be expecting from investment, okay, is of course being based on the risk that their investment, okay, their capital shall be exposed to. Okay, the higher the risk exposure, of course, that will be the lower will be the higher will be the return they shall be expecting. Okay, if the return the investor shall be expecting is of course is a function, okay, is a function of the risk. Okay, it is a function of risk. It's a function of risk. Okay, but essentially, okay, the return the investor shall be receiving. Okay, first of all, okay, since they are investing in risky projects, okay, both X and Y are risky projects, okay, which imply therefore they need to be some premium, there need to be some compensation, okay, as I just mentioned, okay, for any extra risk that the investor shall be assuming on the investment, okay. However, if they were to invest in a risk-free asset, okay, and by risk-free it can be the T-bills, okay, it can be the T-bonds, okay. If they were to invest in risk-free assets, they shall be receiving some return, okay. The return they shall be receiving, okay, if they were to invest in risk-free assets, okay, is referred to as the risk-free rate of return, okay, referred to as the risk-free rate of return, okay. The return that the holder shall be getting for investing in a risk-free asset. On top of that, don't forget in X and in Y, these two projects, okay, they are risky. Okay, don't forget here we did have a measure of risk here. Okay, so this has a risk. The risk is not zero. Okay, it's not like in the T-bill. Okay, it's not like in the treasury bonds. Okay, there's a risk. It implies therefore, over and above that, since there's a risk exposure, they shall be requiring a compensation for the extra risk they are exposing themselves to. Okay, the return is going to be risk-free or the minimum plus the premium they shall be receiving for exposing themselves to the extra risk. Okay, if this premium does not exist, okay, so in case this premium does not exist, okay, so if this premium does not exist, okay, then why would they want to invest in project X? Why would they want to invest in project Y? Okay, whereas they can obtain the same risk-free return, okay, by investing in government-issued securities, okay, risk-free assets, okay. So the only way they shall gain, or they're going to be investing in X and in Y, in case is getting some premium for the extra risk that they are exposed to. Okay, for the extra risk that they are exposed to. Okay. Therefore, we can say therefore the return. Okay, the return we expect. Okay, let's go here. The return the expected. Okay, return the holder shall be expecting is a function of risk-free plus the risk premium. Okay, risk-free plus the risk premium. Okay, let's call the return formula. Okay, more or less. Okay, that the return expected. Okay, so here E just means expected. Okay, is equal to the risk-free plus the risk premium. Now, when the investors do choose investment, okay, when they do choose to invest in a risky project, okay, of course they are going to be exposed mainly out of two main risks. Okay, there are two main risk exposure. Okay, they shall be having. Or this premium they are receiving is compensating them for two types of risk. Okay, the risk premium, okay, is compensating them for two types of risk. Okay, and the compensation they're receiving, okay, you see the risk premium, okay, the compensation the holders which shall be receiving because of two risks. Okay, we have called the financial risk and you have called the business risk. Okay, you have the financial risk and you have the business risk. What is financial risk? Okay, simply financial risk, don't forget, it is if what the chance, okay, that if I was to invest in this particular project, okay, if I was to invest in this particular project, okay, what the chance that maybe the company will be unable to pay me my return, okay, if I am a bank, for example, okay, the return I will be saying is the interest, okay, what the chance that maybe the bank, okay, I'll be unable to receive, I as a bank ABC, okay, what the chance I will not receive the interest, okay, based on the current finance structure that this company is following, okay. This company is financed by a huge amount of debt, okay, which means therefore before they pay me the interest, they need to pay first the debt holder who came there first, okay. If I gave my money in the year 2020, okay, and this company had a debt holder who was there in the year 2019, then of course before I get paid, okay, the other debt holder will be paid first, which implies therefore I am lower in terms of ranking, okay. That called financial risk. Which means therefore before you get your return, someone else needs to be paid first. Okay, therefore you run at higher risk. Okay, and that's what we mean by what called the financial risk. Okay, the chance that maybe the firm will be unable to pay you, or it might not pay you. Okay, why? Simply because of the finance structure the firm is following. Then you have called the business risk. Okay, now business risk is the chance that the company, okay, that we are investing our money in, either as a bank or either as equity shareholder, okay, they may not be able to earn maybe enough money, okay, or the business they are in, okay, or the business they are in is may have issues along the way, okay. Their business operation, maybe the suppliers may fail to deliver the material on time. The cost of commodity or raw material might increase across time. Tax might increase. Okay, now all these factors are what we call business risk. Okay, the chance that you may not be paid your return, okay, simply because the company operation, okay, have faced some crisis, okay, and they have faced some operational issues, okay. That's what we mean by business risk, okay. Which implies, therefore, you as an investor, you need to determine, okay, to what extent are you exposed to the suitable risk, okay, financial risk as well as business risk, okay. You see that the risk premium you can be seeing is going to be based on those two risks, okay, the financial risk as well as the business risk, okay. Therefore, the premium, okay, maybe we can say more or less, can refer to our cost, our return that shall be seen as a holder, okay. The return to be seen is equal to risk-free, okay, plus risk premium, and this risk premium because of two, you'll say because of financial risk, okay, and because of the business risk that you are in, okay. So the premium you're receiving is a compensation for the financial risk exposure as well as the business risk exposure, okay. We shall come back to that particular formula sometime later on in our topic, okay. So essentially, that's how you do obtain the cost of capital, okay, risk-free plus risk premium. As I mentioned, this premium is to compensate the investor for those two risks, okay, business risk as well as the financial risk. And just to repeat, we say that business risk is a chance that maybe the company will be unable, okay, to pay maybe their obligations, okay, because maybe their operations have faced some issues, okay, in whatever way, okay, maybe the market is becoming too concentrated, a scenario where they can't be able to raise money, so that maybe they can't be in operation, there's some investment they can't be able to make, okay, so all this quantifies into what was the business risk, okay. Financial risk is the chance that you might not be paid your money, okay, as an investor. Why? Because there are some other provider of capital who rank, for example, before you, okay, or the company it has a high gearing, okay, the company has high debt levels, okay. Those are the two risks. Therefore, you need to make an assessment on or to quantify, okay, you as an investor, to what extent are you exposed to those two type of risk, okay. So we say that our main topic, okay, is more our main the area of concentration I shall be having for this topic, okay, is more so towards a determination of the cost of capital, okay, from the individual providers of capital, okay. And the first one is the cost of equity, okay. The major capital provider to a company is the cost of equity, is equity, okay. Therefore, it's worth enough to determine how do we therefore get the cost of equity, okay. Now, the cost of equity, okay, there are two models we can use. Okay, let me use a graphic, okay, so you guys understand. Okay, when it comes to the cost of equity, when it comes to determination of cost of equity, we can use two graphics, or we can use two models. Okay, the first model is called the use of the dividend valuation model. The model is called the capital asset pricing model. The capital asset pricing model, okay, commonly known as CAPM. Okay, so those are the two models that you can use when it comes to estimating the cost of equity. You have the devaluation model and you have the capital asset pricing model. Okay, so we can begin the first one. This is kind of for our first model. Okay, this is kind of for our first model. Okay, now in this model, the dividend valuation model. Okay, so going back to our notes. Don't forget, as we've just defined, okay, that the cost of equity is the return the equity shareholders expect to receive at the end of the day. Okay, what is the return the equity shareholder expect at the end of the day for their money? Okay, and of course, equity is in two. We have the use of tenant as well as we have the issue of shares. Okay, the ownership capital and you have the tenant. The two of them makes what we call the equity component. Okay. You see, you can use two models, okay? The dividend valuation model, and you can use the capital as a pricing model, okay? So we can begin the first model, the use of the dividend valuation model. In the dividend valuation model, it is based on what referred to as the fundamental theory of valuation. It is based on what referred to as the fundamental theory of valuation. So it is pegged on the fundamental theory of valuation. And I'm hoping you still remember what the theory says, okay? Now, the fundamental theory of valuation, just to remind you, okay? No, actually, just to hear your feedback, because you've done this model before. So let me just check on whether you still do remember. Johannes. Johannes. Hey, Johannes, you ran away.
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Johannes.
Yes.
So yes, this theory, or this model, okay, is pegged on what referred to as the fundamental theory of valuation. What does it state?
The market value of any financial instrument ought to be equal to the sum of present value of all future cash flows that the holder shall receive over the life of the instrument.
Okay, more or less that's called the fundamental theory of valuation. Okay, thank you, Johannes. Okay, but simply the market value of a financial instrument. Okay, financial instrument can be the case of equity share, it can be the case of bonds. Okay, it can be the case of preference shares. Okay, so all these. Okay, how do they determine the market value? Okay, of that particular financial instrument. Okay, will be simply the sum of present value of the investment. Okay, the sum present value of the cash flows that investment will be yielding for the holder. Okay, having that in mind, okay, we can say, so therefore the market value, okay, let me just call it MV, market value of equity share, it is the sum of present value. Okay, so the sum of present value of all future receipts, future cash flows. Oh, this is an equity share. Okay, this is an equity share, which means therefore, okay, which means therefore the cash flows we are considering. What cash flow do you receive in case you are an equity shareholder? What cash flow will you be receiving? Mahir.
Yes, sir.
What cash flow do you receive in case you are an equity shareholder? What receipt?
An equity.
Sorry?
Dividend.
Dividends, because you receive the dividend. You receive the dividend. Okay, so the return that you receive as a holder, okay, as an equity shareholder is the dividend. Okay, which means therefore the market value of equity share is giving the present value, the sum present value of all the dividends, okay, and as a holder you'll be getting, okay, of all the dividends, okay, from today all the way to infinity. Okay, so the sum, the present value of those dividends ought to give us therefore the market value of the particular equity share. Now, in the case of this model, okay, you're going to use a number of assumption, okay, the number of assumption that you're going to be using along the way, okay, and one of the assumption is that you as the holder, we do not, or the company does not have an end life, okay, this company, okay, does not have an end life, okay, which means therefore the future dividends or the cash flow to be received by the holder goes to infinity. Okay, so if this company pays the dividends, it pays the dividend to infinity. Okay, there is no an end period. Okay, it's not 10 years, not 30 years, not 40 years. Okay, it goes to infinity. Okay, in that context, therefore, because therefore the market value, so the dividend to be received goes all the way to infinity. Therefore, when it comes to estimating the present value of the dividend, you're going to be estimating the present value of those dividends to infinity. Okay, to infinity. Okay, that's how you get therefore the market value of those preference shares, of those equity shares. Which means, therefore, we need to split the model, just to go back to our previous, in two main categories. Okay, there are two categories of this model. Okay, we have what we call the first is called the case of growth in dividend. Dividends. Okay, the case of no growth in dividend. So case of growth and case of no growth in dividend. Okay. Now, in case we take up the first case, okay, we take up the first case, okay. No, let's take the second case, okay. And this is first case. Let's take up the second case. Case of no growth in dividend. Okay, if we take up the case of no growth in dividend, it implies therefore the dividend you'll be receiving, okay, let's call it the dividend you receive in the year 2020 will be equal to the dividend you'll be receiving in the year 2021. Okay, it will be equal to the dividend you're receiving in the year to infinity. Okay, because is this a constant? Okay, so the dividend receiving is equal, okay, every year to infinity. When it comes to getting the present value, we have said that this dividend is a constant. Okay, is a constant, which means therefore, if we are to bring it into the discounting, okay, the dividend we are receiving is an annuity. Okay, we can see that from that point of view. Okay, that this dividend is a constant to infinity. Okay, so therefore this is an annuity, and this annuity is not growing; it is fixed. Okay, now if you recall, okay, how do you get the present value of an annuity to infinity? Okay, annuity to infinity. Okay, how do you get the present value of annuity to infinity? Okay, we did say that the present value of an annuity to infinity is given as annuity. We divide by the discount rate. Okay, we should remember this with the particular formula. Okay, but the present value of an annuity to infinity, okay, is, and this is a fixed, it is an annuity that's not growing. Okay, is annuity we divide by R. Okay, now in case we have to apply the same here, okay, in case we do apply the same in our analysis we are doing here, okay, we can see therefore the market value or the present value of the dividends, okay, the present value of the dividend, we are saying that the dividend is an annuity, okay, therefore will be equal to the present value of those dividends, okay, will be equal to the dividends themselves we discount by R. In this case, this is an equity share, therefore the discount rate is the cost of equity. Which means therefore P naught, okay, in case we do say that P naught is a market value, okay, P naught will be the dividend we divide by R. We are here, P naught is equal to the share price, okay, let me just call it what we call the X dividend share price, okay, D is equal to the dividend we are receiving every year, which is constant, okay, and RE is the cost of equity. So RE is cost of equity. Okay. So our main topic here, we need to get the RE. So the cost of equity, therefore, will be equal to the dividend we're receiving. Okay. We divide by P naught. Of course, we express this as a percent. Therefore, let's say therefore, this becomes therefore our cost of equity formula. Okay. Here, don't forget we made one assumption. Okay, and the assumption here we just made is that the dividends, okay, that we are receiving, okay, is a constant, and there is no growth in those dividends. Okay, there is no growth in those dividends. Okay, they were simply, we just made the cost of equity here the subject of the formula, which is equal to the dividend. Okay, we divide by P naught, and of course we express as a percent, and that's how we get the cost of equity, assuming there is no growth in the dividend. Okay, assuming there is no growth in dividend. I hope that's very clear, okay, to all of you. Here's your question. Don't forget to let me know, okay? Okay, let's go back to our notes. Okay, so we began the first case, okay, the case of no growth, okay, and this we say that the cost or the P naught, okay, the P naught is equal to, or the market price per share is equal to the dividend. We divide by RE, or cost of KE. Okay, so we just make the cost of equity. They establish the formula. We get D naught over P naught. We express that as a percent, and that's how we do get therefore the cost of equity. As mentioned here, the assumption we're making is that there is no growth in the dividend. Okay, and there's no period upon which we can say this is the end. Okay, of the of equity share. Okay, or this is when the company will come to an end. Okay, that is our first model. Okay, the dividend growth model. And the first case you have assumed here is assuming there is no growth in the dividend. Okay. Okay, and just to remind you, you see that we are going to base this on here. We have a number of assumptions. Okay, the number of assumption here that we do use when it comes to assessing what ought to be the market value of the equity share. Okay, so the first thing we did assume is that we don't have a net price. Okay, which imply therefore, if we don't have a net price, therefore, we assume we don't take into account. Okay, we don't take into account the capital gains. Okay, the only time that you'll be seen as a holder is a dividend. Okay, so capital gain does not exist. Okay, there is no capital gain. Okay, why the capital gain arises in case you decide to dispose of the share at the maybe 5 years from now. Okay, but in case you actually going to stick with that share forever, then essentially there is no tangible capital gains. Okay, it's only going to be paper-based capital gain. Okay. If there's growth, and of course we assume that the growth is going to be constant. If there's growth, then the growth is going to be constant. Okay, I think we shall see it alone. Okay, and the second case, the case of growth in the dividend. Okay, but the case is growth in dividend, then we assume that it is not erratic. Okay, it's going to be constant. If 10%, it will be 10% to infinity. Then constant rate of return is a constant. If, for example, the return shall be receiving from the model, okay, that we're going to apply right now. Okay, if, for example, for this model, we get 10% to be our cost of equity, then what do? We assume that even going forward, it will remain at 10%. Okay, of course, you can review from time to time. Okay, but essentially, we do assume that it will remain 10% for that time period. Okay, if you're doing the analysis in the year 2020, okay, and you get 10%, then the cost of equity for the year 2020 shall remain at 10%. That's an assumption you're making. Okay, the assumption we are making. It can change, it can alter, of course. Then the DPS, of course, is greater than 0. Okay, that one is for sure. Okay, that we assume that the company we are dealing with do pay dividend. Okay, they do pay the dividend. Okay, this company do pay the dividend. Okay, because if they don't, okay, if they don't pay the dividend, let's go back to a model. If here we have a 0 in our numerator here, then how can you use a model? Okay, it can be applied for sure. Okay. The model can become therefore it can be, is of no use as per se. Okay, if you have a numerator there being a 0, so this company must pay the dividend. Okay, for us we have to use the model. Okay, and this one will make more sense once we discuss the case of growth in the dividend. Okay, that essentially the RE, the cost of equity, is going to be greater. Okay, or it is greater. Okay, the cost of equity is greater than the growth. Okay, so for the model to be applied, okay, the cost of equity must be greater than growth. If the growth is greater than the cost of equity, then you can't use a model as per se. Okay, so I'll show you in the second case here. Okay, how this makes sense. Okay, so going back to a model in the first case, okay, the case of no growth in dividend. Okay, I guess now we can go to do the example to apply the model. Okay, just remind you, we say that cost of equity, okay, RE, that RE is equal to the dividend divided by P naught, we express as a percent. The dividend is the most recent paid dividend, RE is the cost of equity, and of course P naught is the ex dividend market value of the company equity shares. Okay, now let's attempt question 1. Okay, so go through question 1, we attempt together, we apply the model together. Okay, so go for it, we attempt that model. Okay, I presuppose you have gone through question 1 and maybe made an attempt on what ought to be the cost of equity. Okay, so this company, it has paid that cent for many years. Okay, it has no plans of paying more than this. Okay, and we told that the company current market value is 1.5. So you mean to simply estimate what ought to be the cost of equity for this company. Okay, so simply is applying the model. Okay, therefore, if we can say for the cost of equity for this case will be the dividend. We divide P naught. Okay, we express as a percent. The dividend, if we told, is equal to 30 cents. P naught, don't forget P naught is, it must always on X basis. Okay, so be careful on that, because sometimes you can give in a scenario where the P naught is on CAM dividend basis. Okay, but it always need to be on X dividend. Okay, and it need to be the share price. Okay, generally when there is no dividend. Okay, which is giving the norm in the market. Okay, at what price does that share trade at? Okay, it trade in this case, therefore it trade at 1.5. Okay, so always note that it need always be on X dividend basis. Therefore, RE, therefore, is going to be equal to 30 cents. We divide by 150 cents. Okay, of course, we express as a percent. Give us how much? Okay. Okay, attempt example 2. Let's see how far you can go. So take 2 minutes on example 2. Okay, I hope you have attempted the question. In this question, okay, it's only that it has been a bit twisted, but essentially it's more or less the same question. Okay, the only difference here is that you've been given what we call the CAM. You've been given the CAM dividend, the dividend cover. Okay, the dividend cover. Now the first thing you need to understand is what is dividend cover. Okay, dividend cover. Actually, you can write the answer there just to confirm whether you got it right. You can maybe let us know the answer you got. So dividend cover essentially is how many times can a company be able to pay off the dividend, okay, from its current earnings, okay? The dividend we paid, okay? How many times can you be able to pay that dividend? Okay, how many times? The number of times, okay? They was given us the DPS, okay? We divide by the earn per share, okay? The dividend per share or the total dividend, we divide by total earnings at that particular point in time. If we told that here, the company has a cover of 4. So 4, let's go back to the question. If we told the company has $1 million ordinary shares, okay, in issue with a market cap of 50, okay, so the market value of those company shares is equal to 50, okay. At the same time, the earnings of the company is equal to 20. The company has an earnings of 20. We mean, therefore, we can be able to determine the dividend, okay. If the earnings is equal to 20, we can now be able to determine the dividend, okay. So the dividend, we divide the earnings, and the earnings will be told is equal to 20 million, which means therefore the dividend of the company is equal to 20 million. No, this formula, I think we have flipped it, because the dividend cover, it's how many times can you pay the dividend from the earnings. Okay, so this flipped off this formula, okay, because it's how many times can you pay, it's the number of times. There is the earning per share, or the earnings of the company, we divide by the dividend. Okay, thank you for that. So earnings of the company is 20 million, we divide by the dividends. The dividend, therefore, is 20 million. We divide by 4. Yes, which means therefore we get 5 million. Okay, and that makes sense. Okay, because how many times we can be able to pay the dividend 4 times? It means therefore how much did you pay? You paid therefore 5 million. Okay, 5 times 4 to give us 20 million. Okay, dividend cover is how many times can you be able to pay the dividend from your earnings? Okay, so the earnings we divide by the dividend. Okay, in this case, therefore, we get 5 million to be the dividend. Now, this company, we've been told that it has in issue 1 million. Okay, the company has 1 million shares in issue. Okay, which means therefore we can now determine the DPS, the dividend per share. So the DPS for this company, therefore, because the dividend is 5 million, we divide by the number of shares, 1 million, and we get the DPS to be equal to 5. Okay, so you have the DPS. Okay, next thing, you'll be told that this company, don't forget the formula that we are using. Okay, just remind you so that you get to know, you have the end in mind. R is equal to the D, we divide by P naught, we express as a percent. Now we have the dividend. Okay, we've just done the dividend. So the next thing is to get the P naught. Okay, we need to get what should be the market value per share. Okay, if we told that this company has a market cap, this company has a market capitalization of 50 million. In short, the total market value of the company share is equal to 50 million. Okay, and we know this company has 1 million issued shares. It implies therefore market cap of the company, market capitalization is equal to the number of shares times the market price per share. The market cap in total is equal to 50 million. The number of share is 1 million. Therefore, the MPS we can determine to be equal to 50. Okay, therefore MPS is equal to 50 divided by 1 million, and we get the MPS to be equal to 50. Now we have all the variables. We wanted the dividend, which we have obtained. We have the P naught, which we now have. Therefore, we can now build together RE, cost of equity. Is the dividend, which is 5. Okay, from here we divide by 50 the P naught. We express as a percent to give us 10% be the cost of equity. Okay, in this particular example. Okay. Now, what does 10% mean? 10% mean, therefore, that for every dollar the company asks from the shareholder, they need to promise a return equal to 10 cents every year. Okay, that's what 10% simply mean. Okay, that for every dollar the company shall be asking the shareholder for, they need to promise and give a return of 10 cents every year. Okay, and that's how we determine the cost of equity. Okay, in the scenario or in case where we don't have growth in the dividend. Okay, we don't have the growth in the dividend. Okay, I hope it's all clear to all of you. If not, don't forget you let me know. Okay, that's on the application of the formula. Okay, in estimating what ought to be the cost of equity. Now you see that the model we can split it into. Okay, let me just go back to our graphic that we did here. We see that you can have the case of no growth. Okay, the case of no growth, which you have just done. Okay, then you have the case of growth in the dividend. Okay, the case of growth in dividend. Okay, so let's introspect it into detail. Okay, so case of growth in dividend. Okay, in the case of growth. Now, don't forget we say that if in the case of where there's no growth in dividend, okay, we say present value, okay, is equal to annuity. We divide by R. Okay, the present value of an annuity that is not growing, it is fixed to infinity, is the annuity. We divide by R. Okay, but what if now? Don't forget we are saying that here the D2020, for example, okay, is not equal to D2021 because the D2021 has grown. Okay, it has grown by a given rate. It can be 5% or it can be whatever percent it is. Okay, but it's not a constant. Okay, the dividend is not a constant. Okay, it is growing. The D2020, for example, 2021. Okay, the D2021, okay, will be equal to D2020. However, we have 1 year of growth. Okay, therefore 1 plus G. Okay, there's 1 year of growth. Okay, so of course we need to factor in the growth that will occur on the growth between 2020 and 2021. Okay, there's 1 year of growth. And the D2022, for example, will be equal to D2021, 1 year of growth, 1 plus G, or equal to the D2020. However, we have 2 years of growth. Okay, so this is 2020, this is 2022, 2 years of growth. Okay, therefore 1 plus G squared. Okay. The D20, let's say the D2030, okay, is equal to D 2020, 10 years of growth, okay, to the power of 10, okay. Now, so far, okay, out of these figures, these are the you should be able to notice, okay, that essentially what is happening is that we are growing, okay. We can use the D 2020 as our base, okay. It's where it is growing, okay. 2020 is more or less like our dividend for this year, okay. The most recent dividend, the year 2020, okay. Which means, therefore, if we were to use a formula here, we can say that the annuity we have here, which is the D 2020, okay, the fixed, it is growing at the G, okay. We have here, the growth is here, the growth appears everywhere. Now, what or how do you get the present value? Okay, how do you get the present value of an annuity that is growing? We say the present value of an annuity that is not growing is annuity, we divide by R, simple as that. If that dividend, if that annuity is growing, then we ought to factor in the growth. We can't leave the formula at that point because this is simply telling us there's no growth. What if it is growing? We factor in the growth, okay? 1 plus G. However, don't forget the return or the net return the holder shall be getting will be less the dividend growth they were able to obtain, okay? It will be less the dividend receiving. Therefore, it will be R minus G, okay? Don't forget, when get the return, okay, the return shall be seen will include, okay, the return they'll be receiving will include the return, the growth in the return from the dividend. Therefore, the net amount is simply R minus G, okay. If you have to apply the formula now, okay, in case now we apply this formula, okay, in the case of the equity share we have here, we can say the P naught will be equal to the annuity, we are saying in this case is D 2020, okay, is equal to the D 2020, okay, 1 plus G, the annual growth in those dividends. RE is the R is RE, the cost of equity in this case, okay, minus the growth in those dividends, okay. We are saying that D 2020 is simply our most recent paid dividend. Okay, in this case, therefore, we can refer it as our D naught. Okay, so we can refer this as our D naught. Okay, just to put where P naught is X dividend share price. Okay, we have G equal to the annual growth in the dividend growth rate. Okay, of course, the growth rate of dividend. Okay, we are saying that RE is the cost of equity. Okay, what else? Yeah, that is it. Okay, and D naught. D naught is equal to the most recently paid dividend. Okay, paid dividend. Okay. Having done that, our main concern was to get the RE, the cost of equity. So what do? You just make RE the subject of your formula. Okay, which will be equal to, okay, P naught you said is equal to D naught 1 plus G RE minus G. So you have to make RE the subject equation. RE therefore will be equal to, okay, so you multiply both sides by RE minus G, both sides by RE minus G. Okay, therefore that will be equal to, then you divide by P naught here, we divide by P naught. Okay, therefore it will be D naught 1 plus G. We divide by P naught this side. Okay, don't forget this is a minus. Once it counts this side and it becomes a plus. Okay, because I'm still minus. But in case you take it to the right hand side, it becomes a plus. We have plus G. Okay, of course we express as a percent to get the cost of equity, assuming there is growth in the dividend. Okay, don't forget we say that D naught is the most recently paid dividend. Okay, G is the annual growth in the dividend, and P naught is the current ex-dividend market value per share. And that simply is how you get the market value. You get the cost of equity, assuming that there's growth in the dividend. Assuming there's growth in the dividend. Okay. Question, if there's question, don't forget, you let me know. Let not continue the class in case you have some pending question. Okay, you're free to interrupt the class. Okay, and simply that's how you get the cost of equity. Okay, assuming that we do have the growth in the dividend. Okay, so going back to our notes. Okay, so growth in dividend. Okay, So this is how we get the cost of equity, okay, assuming that we do have an annual growth in the dividend, okay. So KE, okay, finally we do have KE to be equal to D naught 1 plus G, okay. Sorry, be equal to D naught 1 plus G, okay, 1 plus G, sorry. Plus G. Don't forget here in the final you need to add the G. So don't forget this G, okay, plus the growth in the dividend. And simply, that's how we do get the cost of equity, assuming that we have growth in the dividend. Assume that they have growth in the dividend. Maybe just to highlight, here we have D1, okay. We have said that, for example, the D2021, okay, is equal to D2020, 1 plus G, okay, if we just remember what we've just done here, okay, which means, therefore, you can replace all this factor or all this part of the formula by the use of D2021, okay, which we have here D1, okay. So D1 is what we anticipate we shall be paid, for example, in the next one financial year, okay. In the next one financial year, how much dividends do we anticipate the company shall be paying, okay. So you can use it instead of growing the D naught, okay. Don't forget D naught is the most recently paid dividend. D1 is what we anticipate getting paid in the next one financial year, okay. If that's the case, therefore, don't forget you don't need to grow it. If that's the case, don't grow it. Simply use the D1 because already we have the growth element here, okay. The G is already here, okay. So don't grow it. Okay, so having done that, yes, now we can now be able to apply the formula. Okay. P naught, we said, is the current market value. D naught is the dividend. Okay. KE or RE, the cost of equity, and of course G is annual growth rate in the dividend. Okay. Okay, let's apply the formula, okay, by attempting a question, okay, by attempting a question. Okay, so go through this in the next. Actually, attempt it. Let's see how far you can go. Attempt that question. Let me see what answer. Okay, so you think we got some. So you get 16.1%, 16, okay, fair enough. Okay, so you get more 16.1%. Now don't forget here, be careful that the share price given to us is come dividend. The share price given to us here is come dividend. Okay, that means therefore we need to strip off the dividend. Okay, therefore P naught, okay, therefore P naught is equal to the current share price, okay, is 1.05 minus the dividend, okay, the dividend for this particular example was equal to 10 cents, okay, so therefore remove the 10 cents, okay, 10 cents, so minus 0.1, and we get 0.95, okay, so therefore P naught, okay. The next is we get the dividend, okay, dividend is the most recently paid dividend, okay, even if the company maybe paid the dividend maybe 2 years ago, but essentially D naught is among the available dividends, okay, among the available dividends, which one is the most recently paid dividend, okay, take that into note, okay, because sometimes the examiner normally give you a lot of many dividends, okay, upon which you may end up confusing yourself, okay, many values for the dividend. Now D naught, the most recent paid dividend, okay, for this particular case, will be told is equal to the company just paid 10 cents, okay, and the growth is 5%, okay. So 10 cents is our D naught, okay, so 0.1, and the G is equal to 5%. Would imply therefore the cost of equity is equal to D naught, which is equal to 0.1. We divide by P naught, 0.95. Okay, of course this is D naught, which means therefore we need to grow it. Okay, the growth is 5%, 1.05 plus the growth 0.05. Okay, and I guess we get 16.1%. And I guess 16.1%, therefore, to be the cost of equity, if you are to use the dividend valuation model as our base for assessing the cost of equity. Okay, quite simple and straightforward. Okay, but be careful on the dividend. Okay, be careful. Okay, is it D naught or D1? Okay, so be careful here. Is it D naught or is it D1? Okay, and of course on the P naught, on whether it is CAM or X dividend. Okay, so that's where maybe can be trapped. okay, by the many information the examiner might end up giving you, okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to getting the growth in the dividend, okay, don't forget you can go ahead and estimate what we'll call the growth in the dividend, the G, okay. We can estimate the G using two methods, okay. When it comes to getting this G, let me just take you back slightly to our previous board here. The G here, okay, this G, it is possible for us to estimate what should be the annual growth in the dividends, okay. And we can estimate the annual growth in dividends using two methods, okay. There are two ways of trying to get the G, okay. The first is called the use of the extrapolation method. And you have what we call the Gordon's approximation method. Also referred to as the retention model. Those are two models you can use when it comes to estimating the G, okay, the annual growth in the dividends. Now, in the case of the extrapolation method, okay, simply what we are doing here is that we are extrapolating. We are trying to assume, okay, that in the previous 5 years, for example, okay, what has been the annual growth in the dividend? Okay, it has been 10%. Then you can assume that even going forward, okay, in the next 1 year, the next 2 years, the next 10 years, okay, that the same shall be replicated in future. Okay, that's in the past the growth has been 10%. Also in the future, the growth will also be 10%. In short, what is happening is that we are extrapolating the past into the future, the past growth in the dividend into a future growth in the dividend. Okay, extrapolation. We are simply we are extending, okay, the past in the future. Okay, if in the past the growth has been 10%, then also in the future we assume the growth has been 10%. Okay, in the Gordon's approximation method or model, okay, also called the retention model. Now we assume that the G is influenced by two factors. Okay, the future growth in dividend is influenced by two factors. One of them is the retention ratio. Okay, the retention ratio, and the other one is called the return on equity. The return on equity. Okay, those are the two factors that do influence the future growth in dividend. Now, to us, the retention ratio. Okay, what does it say? The retention ratio. Okay, is telling us that as a company, if today, okay, you did make 100, okay, today the earnings of the company were 100, okay, if you paid everything to the shareholder in form of dividend, then in the future, it means the capital you have in future is very minimal. Why? Because you paid all your earnings to the shareholder in form of dividends. If you retain more today, if you have high retention, you did earn 100, you paid 10. It means you retain 90. It means in future, if there will be a potential project to come up, okay, it means you'll be having the capital, okay, to invest using the 90 because you have the capital now. You did retain more, okay. It means for the more retention you do have today, okay, the higher will be the capital you have in the future, and that by default, the more earnings you make from those potential investments in future. So the higher the retention, the more will be the future growth in the dividends. Okay. The next thing is the return on equity. Okay, return on equity, the ROE. Okay, the return on equity. Okay, so is this giving us the net income? We divide by the shareholders fund or simply the equity. Shareholders equity. Of course, we express as a percent. Okay. Now, what does ROE mean, or the return on equity? It simply means how much return did every dollar of equity we did invest during a given time period earn for the company. How much of the earnings, how much of profit, okay, did that $1 make? Okay, which means therefore, if we have a high ROE, it means you're making more earnings. Okay, we are able to turn the investment to profit. Okay, much more higher, and of course, the higher the chance you can make more profit. Okay, you can make more profit in future. And the higher the chance, okay, you can be able to pay more dividend. Okay, so the higher the ROE, okay, the higher is the return on equity. The higher becomes the company chance to pay high dividends. So the G is influenced by those two factors: the amount we retain today and the amount of return that investment makes on behalf of the shareholder. Okay, the return on equity. So let's begin the first method, okay, the extrapolation method, okay. Okay, so you see that you can determine the G is two method, okay, one of the extrapolation method, okay, simply extrapolating the past in the future, okay, and you have what we call the earnings method, the retention method, okay, which I shall discuss in the next 1 minute. Now, if you are to use the extrapolation method, if you are to use the extrapolation method, okay, if for example, in the year, just to assume that the dividend, okay, just to give an example, okay, don't worry about the formula, okay, so that don't mind too much about the formula. If, for example, the dividend for year 2015, okay, was let's say $10, and the dividend for year 2020, 5 years later, is equal to $15, okay, we can say that the growth between 2015 and 2020, okay, the growth has been 15 divided by 20, okay, divided by 20, that's a growth. Okay, of course we express as a percent. Okay, of course we do express this as a percent. Okay, so of course -1 as a percent. That's the entire growth for the entire period. Okay, which is more or less I think should be 50%. Okay, we can see that there was a 50% growth in dividend between year 2015 and year 2020. Okay, 50%. However, this growth has been achieved over how many years? It has been achieved over 5 years. Okay, it has been achieved over 5 years. It implies, therefore, what should be the annual growth? Okay, what should be the annual growth, therefore? Okay, we can say that D 2020 is equal to D 2015, but there are 5 years, we have 5 years of growth. Okay, therefore, 1 plus G, the power of 5, isn't it? Okay, 1 plus G, the power of 5. We want to get the G. Okay, so simply make the G the subject the formula. Okay, therefore, G will be equal to D 2020 divided by D 2015. Okay, this is to the power of 5, and we count therefore the fifth root. Okay, the power of 5 minus 1. Okay, and that's how we get the G. Okay, so D2020 over D2015, that the power of fifth root, okay, minus 1. We get the fifth root minus 1. That's simple. And it's how we do determine what ought to be the annual growth in the dividend. Okay, don't forget in this case here, okay, this 3% has been received over 5 years. What about per year? What's the growth per for every year? Okay, we need to get the fifth root of our answer. Okay, I hope it's very clear. Okay, how we get the annual growth in the dividend. Now let's apply the formula now, okay, to a case. Okay, we determine, therefore, if you're to use that formula, what ought therefore to be the annual growth in the dividend? Okay, let's use in a case, in an example. Okay. Okay, so go through example 1, we attempt together. Need to get it, okay? So in this example, don't forget, the growth has been for 5 years. Okay, thank you, Sharon. Okay, has been over 5 years. Okay, all the way from 20 to that 2. Okay, that is a 5-year growth. Okay, and imply therefore, let's go back to board here. Okay, so the growth has been for 5 years. So it will be G, so that we are in the year 2020, just an example. Okay, over year 2015, there's 5 years of growth. Okay, we have the fifth root minus 1. In year 2020, for example, that is 5 years later, you have that 2 cents. From the beginning, it was 20 cents. Okay, that is in 2015. How many years of growth? There were 5 years of growth. Therefore, you get the fifth root, okay, minus 1. And that therefore give us therefore what will be the annual growth in dividend. Now, I'm not sure what answer it should be because I have a number of answers here. Okay, 10%, 12.8%, 12%. Okay, what should be the answer to the annual growth in the dividend, therefore? 9.8%. Just to ask, okay, maybe just to ask Timothy, okay, how you got 12.8%? Just to confirm how you got 12.8%. Check from Timothy. Yes, Timothy.
I did the 32 over 20
So you're too far from your mic, Timothy.
I did the 32 divided by 20,
Yes.
then did -1.
Or
Then
minus. Oh, the minus was okay. -1. The minus was within the bracket or what?
yes, minus was
Okay,
within the
okay,
bracket.
okay. So that's
Yeah.
why you made the mistake.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, okay. Okay, so don't forget, there's someone who's got 12.8. Who was that? Just to check on who it was. Just to see. 12, Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, what is this? It's Jeffrey. Jeffrey?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Jeffrey. How do you get 12%?
I did exactly as my comrade did.
Okay. Don't forget the one is meant to be outside of the outside of the bracket. Okay, outside of the bracket.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and that's how you get the growth in the dividend. Okay, the growth in the dividend. In my formula, did I give? Was that how I did it? If that's how I did it, then you need to correct that. If I did put the one into the bracket, it's meant to be outside of the bracket. Okay, and that's how you get the growth in the dividend. Okay, therefore, we will say that between year 2015 and the year 2020, okay, that the growth has been equal to 9.8%. Then we are extrapolating. Okay, we are saying that going into the future from the year, for example, from year 2020 to the year 2030, the growth per year then will be 9.8%. What has been experienced, okay, in the past 5 years. So you're extrapolating the past into the future. Okay. Example 2, okay, attempt example 2. Let's see how we can do example 2. The same, but now using example 2. What should be the growth in the dividend? Okay, we 9.73, 9.8. Okay, let's attempt. Let's see. 9.73. Don't forget here we have the dividend from the year 2010, for example, to the year 2014. Okay, 2010 to 2014. Okay, therefore, going back to my screen here. Okay, we have the dividend. Okay, so from year 20, so G, let me call 2014. Okay, 2010. Okay, now how many years of growth do we have? Okay, don't forget these are 4 years of growth. Okay, 4 years of growth, the power of a quarter minus 1. So D 2010, okay, is equal to 2010 is 10 cents, 2014 is 14.5 cents. Okay, therefore they grew from 10 to 14.5, and that this growth has been over 4 years. Okay, from 10 to 14.5, so 14.5, okay, all over 10, the power of a quarter, okay, minus 1, to give us how much? 9.8, I suppose. 9.73. 9.73, I presuppose. Okay, that's therefore how we determine the annual growth in the dividend. Okay, then the assumption is that even after the year 2014, okay, that is 2015, 2016, 2017, therefore the annual growth in dividend ought to be equal to 9.73%. Okay, and that's how we do estimate, therefore, the annual growth in the dividend by the use of the extrapolation method. Okay, extrapolating the past into the future. Okay. The next method of determining the annual growth in the dividend, okay, the next method is called the retention method, okay, or the Gordon's model, okay, the retention method or the Gordon's model, okay. And in this model, okay, the retention model, we are saying that we assume, okay, we make an assumption that the growth in the dividend is influenced by mainly two factors, okay. There are mainly two factors that do influence what ought to be the growth in the dividend. One is the retention ratio, and the other one is the return on equity. Okay, and as I mentioned, don't forget, the more you retain today, the higher that in future you're going to have more capital upon which you can be able to invest. Okay, at the same time, the return, you may have a lot of capital, but how much return does that capital investment you have made yield for the company? If you're going to invest in value-added projects, then of course more dividend. If you're going to be investing in poor project, then of course low dividend. You have the capital, but the investment you're making poor investment. Okay, those are the two factors that do influence the potential growth in the dividend in future. Okay, the G, okay, the B in this case, or referred to as the retention ratio, and R here is the return on equity. The return on equity. Okay, those are two factors that do influence what should be, and therefore, the growth in the dividends. Okay, as per the Gordon's model. Okay, or simply the retention model. Okay, don't forget this the formula. If the examiner, okay, so your examiner is going to give this formula. Okay, but this formula given to you. Okay, so you need to know what is B. You need to know what is R. Okay, so B is the retention ratio, and R is the return on equity. Okay, so because the formulas don't have explanation, okay, but you have the formula in the exam. But what does B mean? What does R mean? Okay, so don't confuse R with the cost of equity. R is return on equity. R is a return on equity, not cost of equity. Okay, get that clear. Okay, so I think we can apply the formula in an example. Okay, so go through this example. Okay, attempt it, give me the answer, then we attempt together. Okay, so take 2 minutes on this example, for example. Okay, we get from what you have been doing. Okay, 18.8%, 10%. Anyway, let's see what ought to be the correct answer, because here he seems to have two answers. Okay, now for this example, you'll be told that the company, okay, that currently the company pays dividend at 16 cents. Okay, so the dividend is paid is 16 cents. The share price you told is 200. The return on equity 12.5. The company pays 20%. So if they pay 20%, it means they retain 80%. Okay, how that's clear. And you have simply meant to get the cost of equity. Okay, you have simply meant to get the cost of equity. Okay, which means therefore we can now be able to get what ought to be the cost of equity for this company. Okay. Okay, it ought to be equal to 19.6 from Provital, and let's confirm all our workings. So first, of course, is to get the G. We say G is equal to B times R. What is B? B is the retention ratio. So this company paid 20, it means retain 80. So 0.8 times the return on equity. And the return on equity for this company, okay, I can't remember how much it was, is equal to 12.5%. Okay, it is equal to 12.5% with the return on equity. So 12.5%. And you get the G equal to how much? 10%, I guess. Is it 10%? Confirm the G is 10%. Okay. Yes, 10%. Thank you, Mahil. 10%. Okay. We have the G. Therefore, the cost of equity, we said is given us D naught 1 plus G. We divide by P naught plus G. So D naught, the most recently paid dividend. Okay. Let me just check the question again. Yes, is equal to 16 cents. Okay. And the share price is 200 cents. Okay. So going back, okay, 16 cents is our dividend, 16 cents. It is growing by 10%, so times 1.1. We divide by P naught, in this case is 200 cents, okay, plus G, and the G is 10%, 0.1. Okay, of course, we express this as a percent. And you get how much the cost of equity for this company, therefore? So 18.8%, so 18.8%, okay? So Mahid, how did you get 10%? Just check on the potential mistake even others can make. So Mahid, let me unmute you. Mahid?
Okay, so I stopped at the growth rate. Like I didn't see
Okay.
the
Oh, so you didn't
question
proceed.
of cost and
Okay.
equity.
Okay. So you didn't proceed ahead and get. Okay, I get it. Okay, then check someone else. Vital, how did you get 19.6? Let me unmute you, Provital.
Sir,
Yes.
another question, it says that it is about to pay the dividends of 16 cents.
Oh, the company is about to pay. Yes, a minute.
Yes. The first opening statement says it's about to pay. So that means this 200 cents is cum dividend, not ex-dividend.
Ah, I get it. I get it. We are the one who made the mistake. Thank you, Provital, for that.
No problem, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget here, and this will be the trick that you shall be used once in a while, okay, by your examiner. Sorry that I didn't pick it up myself, okay. The company is about to pay, okay, which implies therefore for this company, the 16 cent will, now, even the way I did say this, okay, question, okay, maybe it can be a bit confusing, okay. Let me actually clarify it here so that we get it very clear, okay. Now the company is about to pay the dividend, okay, of 60 cents, and the share price, okay, let's qualify this. The share price is cum dividend, okay. Not sure how I'm going to, okay. So for our case here, let's assume that the share price, okay, not here, 200 cents is cum dividend, okay. So cum dividend share price. Maybe that's something I didn't clarify very well, okay, cum the share price. What implies therefore, since the share price is cum dividend, okay, since the share price is cum dividend, okay, the 200 cents, that implies therefore this dividend, okay, the company is paying of 16 cents, okay, is equal to D naught, not D1. Okay, I hope Vital you can get that clear because don't forget the 16 cents here, okay. If you assume the share price is cum dividend, okay, then this is D naught. I know D naught is the most recently paid dividend, okay, that's very clear, okay. However, the share price is cum dividend. The share price is cum dividend, which implies therefore this dividend is going to be paid in the next maybe 2 weeks, okay. Yeah, the market period is going to be 1 month. So even if you discount it to year 0, okay, the discount from let's say this is getting paid in the month of June back to the month of May, the difference in terms of time value is very minimal. Okay, the difference in terms of time value is very minimal compared to a case where you are discounting from 1 year. Okay, let me just try to illustrate that point. Okay, I just have my board here. Okay, but in case we are discounting, okay, assume that we're the month of May here. Okay, this deal is getting paid in the month of June. Okay, and this is the end of this is May next year, May 2021. Now, in case you're going to have a dividend paid here, okay, discounted back to the month of May, the difference is really minimal compared to a case where you're discounting by 1 year all the way to now the May. Okay, that's why, okay, this deal you have here, okay, of 16 cents, okay, we are paying here, okay, it is not going to be very different, okay, from what you have in the present value in the month of May. Essentially, therefore, this 16 cents, we can consider it as our D naught, because the share price here is cum dividend. Okay, that means therefore it is getting paid in the next few days. Okay, the company is about to pay in the next few days. Okay, if for example the share price is not cum dividend, okay, if for example the share price is not cum dividend, what would happen? We can consider it as D1. Okay, if the share price is not cum dividend, if the share price is not cum dividend, then we can consider 16 cents to be D1. But since it is cum dividend, then it cannot be D1. It will be D naught. Okay, hope that's clear. Okay. Anyway, with that information, let's go back to our question. We do the correction. Okay. So the P note here, we need to adjust it. Okay. We need to make an adjustment to the P note. Okay. Because the P note need to be on X dividend. Okay. Need to be on X dividend. Okay. Therefore, you can say therefore the share price without the dividend okay, because the share price, okay, P naught will be equal to 200 cents minus 16 cents, okay, to give us 1.84 or 184. Okay, therefore here, this is P naught, we divide by 1.84. don't forget we need to grow it because the screen set need to grow. We need to grow it. Why? Because it is D naught, not D1. It is D naught, not D1. Okay, so we need to grow it. Okay. In order to get the revised cost of equity. Okay. But in the meantime, don't forget I gave you an assignment. Okay, so I gave you an assignment. Okay, so ensure that you do send it to me. Okay, okay, on an Excel. Okay, on an Excel worksheet. Okay, so attempt that question. You do send it to me. Okay, I hope I'll be able to mark over the weekend. Then I can go to reply to each one of you before the class on Thursday. Okay, if there's no question, then you can sign the register, and I guess we meet on Tuesday. Okay, so enjoy your weekend.